Hi guys, this is Joel. I'm in Minnesota, Cottage Grove, Zone 5A. Today is September 2nd, 2024. I thought I would just take you around and show you a little bit about what's happening in the garden at this time of the year. All right, so we are starting in the side garden. It's on the east side of the house, so it gets the morning sun and then afternoon shade. Right here we have a couple of new things that I've added. Try to get my shadow out of the way. We've got a Dark Side of the Moon Astilbe, as well as a couple of other Astilbes. They will get pink plumes. All three of them will actually get pink. This one's a little dark and it kind of blends into the rock there, but I really like the color. And right up behind it is the quite large clematis. It's been there quite a few years. It's got a couple of blooms on it. Next to that, we've got a Weigela. It's got a couple blooms on it that didn't ever bloom in the spring. So I'm quite happy. See, we've got a little pollinator friend enjoying themselves. Picked up this mum a couple weeks ago. It's doing really good. I really like the color. On the corner of the house, I took out the couple of astilbes and put those in the backyard, and I put in a hardy hibiscus. It'll get big dinner plate size blooms. I'll see if I can pop that up on the picture on the screen here. It did bloom a couple of blooms a couple of days ago, and you can see there's one that is just trying to get out there. So probably by tomorrow that one will be up and at 'em. All right, in this little circle garden on the corner of my house, not a lot has changed, but I did take out the couple lobelias, I believe they were, that I had in there, and replaced them with several, I think it's called Rose Marvel salvias. I added 5 in the first row here, and then yesterday I picked up a couple more back there. I see I need to get one more for this spot over here, and then I'll be more happy with it. Here's a shot of the side here. Got the round garden with the mum in the back and the hibiscus, and then back to the clematis and the deck and stuff in the back. And then coming along the front of the house, I have another Weigela. This blooms pink in the spring. I have not cut that back this year yet, so that's why it's not blooming right now. Got a couple of hostas here. This one's Wind Beneath My Wings. That'll get quite large. A new one here earlier this spring. This is a brand new one, Hat Trick. A couple of Summer Crush hydrangeas there and there. Then yesterday I picked up some Agastache. So it's like nice lavender. Pollinators are already liking it. See a nice old bumblebee here today, enjoying himself, getting his treat. We were at Gerton's earlier this week and we picked up this, I don't even know what you call it, but it's a lovely fall plant. Potted it up and there you go. It's a nice fall color. Next to that is the Moon Rock hydrangea. That's putting on some good growth, surviving. Looks like it dried out a little bit, but it's getting better. Then we've got the Impatiens, Empress Wu, Hosta. And then I'll go over to our Vinca, and that basket is still doing pretty good, along with this basket. Now we're on to the circle around the big maple tree at the side of the driveway. Got a couple of hostas that are doing okay. Some Archangel right there that puts on little yellow flowers. And we've got our Impatiens. again that are doing good. And on this side, we still got our little coreopsis that's in good bloom. This is the one that I got from my sister-in-law Joanne earlier this year as she was taking out some of hers. Got a Boogie Woogie Rockin' Low sedum I picked up a couple weeks ago on sale. That's looking nice. Then we're over to my mailbox garden. Looks like I might need to trim back the paradise petunias a little bit. They're looking a little long and straggly again, so. But otherwise, the sweet potato vine, salvia, and the coleus are looking good. And again, the other circle around the front tree. Sorry, my shadow's in the way, but got some hostas. Got a little foam flower there. That's just developing again. This is most of these plants from these circles are from the back where I've split off some and brought them up front. All right, as most of you know, we had a lot of wind and rain the other day. I did try to stake this plant up. It's I believe this is limelight hydrangea. It's several years old, but it's quite droopy. But if I lifted up some of the panicles here, you can see that there is some pink on it. I think I may have to come back through and try to stake it a little bit better with taller stakes. But it's quite droopy, and some of the buds are quite spent. But we got a couple of new ones, so I guess I'm happy with it. A couple of days ago, a friend at work gave me some Rudbeckia, so I put those in. Hopefully those will take off. I got a couple of specials at, I think it was Lowe's. I got the these pink phlox. So they're getting over with their blooms, but hopefully next year they'll fill in and bloom really nice. I've got a Junior Walker catmint I picked up at Menards a couple days ago. I think it was like $2. So I thought, why not? We'll try it for $2. All right. And then my Firelight Tidbit hydrangea, that's doing pretty good. That was planted earlier this spring. All right, now we'll start in the backyard. This is a little lime hydrangea, I believe. That is several years old. It is rather floppy too, so maybe I should come back and stake that up, but look at its blooms. They're nice and large, kind of that lime colored, and then they're starting to fade to the pink. Clematis, I got a Niobe, I think it's called. Got this a couple months ago. It's still doing okay. And another little lime hydrangea. Picked up this Glow Girl hydrangea at Gerton's a couple days ago, and I think it was like $12. Didn't know exactly where to put it, so I put it in a pot for now, and at some point I will be transplanting this into the gardens. The former fairy garden pot is doing rather well. I think we over planted it. Didn't realize that these plants would spread and get so big, but next year we'll know a little bit better. Next to that, I picked up at home. They had a 50% on sale for this pot. I think I got for half off, which is very nice. And then I picked up a couple of plants on sale and got some Grumphrena. Turn the camera the other way a little bit. Grumphrena and some grass and a little bit of creeping Jenny. All right, turn you back over. And then I've got my elephant ear. This is considered black, I guess. really deep maroon, purpley black color. I like it. All right, we're moving around the deck. This is a 9-bark bush shrub. I have to kind of keep it trimmed back, otherwise you can see it kind of hangs over the deck and that. Around the base I planted some hostas. I think it's Lily of the Valley I got from my sister-in-law. Got a couple of hostas that I planted in pots earlier this spring. Those are just little liners, so I'm trying to grow those out. And then we've got the, I think I showed you last month, the hydrangea. This is either white diamond or pink diamond. They both start out with white and then fade to pink. This is a little bit different kind of a bloom because it is much more open, but it's kind of pretty just to see the difference in the blooms. All right, along here, ignore my weeds. I haven't been into this garden for a little while, so got a couple more hostas there. This is T-Rex, and I believe it's Earth Angel. I added a couple more small ones back here. That's a transplant of the night before Christmas. And then I've got a couple of little liners that I transplanted there. Empress Woo. This one gets a little bit of the morning sun, but mostly shade. This one here is stained glass. And this is where where I have those Agastache in the front. I moved the bottle rocket ligularia back here. Those will get tall and yellow plumes on them. A couple coleus and another, I believe that is a halcyon hosta. All right, I've turned the camera around. We're gonna go up the side garden. This again is the east side of the house. This is Empress Woo with some ostrich ferns. And Dawn's Early Light. It actually is much more chartreuse or a yellowy color in the spring. A couple of more archangels here. This is where I got them for the front yard. You can see up here I do have a phlox that has probably been here self-seeding in between behind my loosestrife. That's pretty. A couple more hostas. Then I've got a coral bell or heuchera. Right behind that is another pretty hosta. Some of these I would know the name. I'd have to just look them up because they were only labeled on the container, and I haven't gotten around to labeling all my hostas yet. Got some anemone. Doesn't really pick it up. It looks more white, but it is a real pale pink. Put a few impatiens in that I got on sale, clearance. An unknown hosta here. Got some coleus. And another coral bells or heuchera. This is where I transplanted one of those stilbe that I talked about right at the beginning. And I'm not sure if that one will be red or if it will be white. I think I had both red and white up in the front there. This is my original Night Before Christmas hosta. Foam flowers, this is the original spot. They're kind of taken over. It looks like I maybe need to dig out a couple clumps and see what I can do to thin them out and get them to spread up somewhere else. My begonia tree is still doing okay. Back in the back there, I've got some more of that anemone. Couple hostas. This one is a green Queen of Hearts Branera. I really like that color. It's kind of a silvery white with green lines through it. Another hosta. Got my balloon flowers. Those are actually still doing okay. This purple one has really went to town. It's liking its spot apparently and liking its life. We'll go up the side and then we'll come down to the middle through here, okay? These are the taller balloon flowers. They're surviving. These ones are ones I planted from, transplanted from up at the deck. So they're doing good. A couple of yarrow. I believe these will be yellow. I don't know, I put those in about a month ago. More hostas. This is Cajun Fire. Heuchera. It's kind of a nice, dark, deep wine, reddish colored. Here I've got my William Baffin Rose. That was transplanted up, if you remember, in one of my prior videos. It's one that I actually tried to kill. That was then kept growing in between my hydrangeas up in the front. And so I decided just to transplant it here and see what would happen. Rather large elephant ear, grown from a bulb. It took a long time to sprout, but once it did, it has gotten quite large. Ignore my messes here. I'm still doing a lot of work. I believe these are asters and should be, I think, a purple flower. This is, it's a spirea, and I can't remember the name at the moment. Oh, double play juicy. So nice little pink flowers that reblooms. And I can see that we've got a couple friends here. And then my Rebecca clematis, putting on a lot of nice growth. Looks like there might be a little place for a bloom there, but not quite sure if that'll bloom again this year or not. And then we'll come to the middle garden here. Got some salvia. You can see that I've got a little bit. This is flushed out a couple of times. This one's the rose marble again. So a nice pink and then white. They've flushed out a couple times already, so they're probably pretty much done. Back in the back there, I've got a barberry that I just planted. Don't mind my pots. I just haven't cleaned up after myself. My bird cage is doing well. Still got a couple daisies trying to bloom. Sedum is doing well. These are ones I got off a marketplace early in the spring and put them in. They are establishing quite nice. And right here I've got a My Monet. It's a dwarf Weigela. It's still in the pot because I haven't decided where I want it. And I just kind of set it back here thinking I was going to put it back in this garden somewhere, and yeah, still haven't decided. Got a little pink Veronica here. Again, this is flushed out before, so it's just about done. And finally in this garden is the white phlox. And that's just got the last of its bloom here going. Alright, and then we'll start along to the kind of the middle, going towards the west of the shed here. Got the Autumn Joy sedum. That is nice and big, starting to turn pink. And I got a whole nother swath of the Autumn Joy sedum. So that'll be a nice pink. Pollinators usually really like this. side, I've got another geranium and another night before Christmas hosta. Sedums in front of that are a couple that I got from a friend at work several weeks ago. Got another variegated sedum back here. I believe this one gets white. You can see that that's trying to start to open. It did get splayed out a little bit. I think it's from the heavy rain. I think I've noticed this in the past, so I really need to stake that one up. Next to that, I've got a clematis. I had to put a little bit of caging around it so that the rabbits would stop eating on it. But it is still pushing out a couple blooms. This one is, I believe this one's Sally. No, sorry. This one's Nellie Mosier. Sally's over next to it, over in that obelisk. But she got eaten off, so she's also rabbit caged up. Come around to the side here, I've got a couple of heucheras here. This one's Forever Red. Nice red color. And then next to that is a Grape Expectations. So nice purple, silvery purple color. If I turn the camera this way, I've got my Cosmos. I don't know, these didn't do as well this year as I would have thought. They started blooming before my zinnias did, but they don't seem to be doing as well. There's some blooms on it, but I'm not as happy with this one. That one's really pretty. And you can see up behind is my zinnias. They're doing rather well. We got that wind and the rain the other day, so when we walk around, you'll probably see that they have been pushed down and beaten down a little bit. So I'm hoping that when it dries out a little bit more, it will pop up and do better for us. But still liking all the color. My bubblegum petunias and my flamingos are doing well. My Italian ice rose looks like it's got a couple more blooms to go. My coleus, along with my little award that I got earlier this year. That's my coreopsis. That's still pushing out a lot of blooms, so I really like that. Over here we've got a couple of rudbeckias. That has been flowering for several weeks. Another black-eyed Susan, rudbeckia. And I've got an echinacea or coneflower. This one's Prima Donna Deep Rose. And that's quite pretty. Then I've got a white one. It looks like it's just going to come into bloom. And then next to that, I've got a powwow wildberry. It's quite pretty. A nice pink. And just behind that, spiderwort. It is still blooming, which I'm surprised because spiderwort doesn't usually do very good for me. This is one I got from my sister-in-law, Joanne. So maybe that's why. The Liatris has done and gone. I think you saw last month that I had a little bit of pink and purple on the top, but it has since faded. I'm thinking maybe I'll try to collect some seeds or hope it goes to seed. And we've got the peach lemonade rose, still putting on a couple buds. That will fade to pink at some point here, but I can see there's a few more buds coming. Got some red bee balm here. And here's we got the zinnias. As you can see, I think the wind all came from the west, pushing towards the east, because everything's laying down towards the east. But the blooms are still pretty. I like that we get a variety of colors. And shapes. You know, some are doubles, some are singles. Look at this one. Isn't that pretty? All right, now I'm back behind the shed. There's not a whole lot going on here, but we'll show you a little bit here. It's still a work in progress. Irises have been there for a while. Those are some goat's beard that I transplanted from the front. I've got a Walker's Low catmint. That's putting it on some nice, another second flush of some purple flowers. That's kind of pretty. That it's got full of blooms, so I should give it another good flush. My false sunflowers. I cut quite a few of the spent blooms off yesterday, and it looks like it's still trying to push out some new ones, so I left some, and we'll see what happens. I think this hosta gets a little bit too much sun, I think, so looks kind of washed out. And it looks like it's probably gotten eaten up by a couple things, probably some slugs in here. I didn't really treat for slugs this year, so. Brother Stefan, the hosta back there, is doing rather well. And another Empress Wu with the ostrich ferns. And I believe that's Elegans hosta. Gonna turn back over to the other side of the pathway here. Salvia, it's got a couple of little teensy blooms. Pollinators have been looking for stuff, but it might bloom a little bit more. But it's pretty much done for the year. A couple golden tiara hostas, as well as the Stella d'Oro daylilies. I believe this hosta is Earth Angel. I just like the dark variegation. And we got Patriot, also eaten up quite a bit with Reverse Patriot. We'll walk along under the pines and see what's going on here. Got a couple of Red Beauty ferns back here, and those are doing well. I don't know, maybe I'll leave them one more year and see what happens. I kind of want them to be up front and more prominent looking. A couple of hostas that I've moved and a couple I've put in this year. Another Heucherella here. Coral bells. Put in a couple of ostrich ferns earlier, so those are doing good. Couple more hostas. I really like hostas. I don't like them for their bloom again, but they are quite colorful when they're not in bloom. And then the small stuff there is the pink pewter lamium. It does get blooms all throughout the year, but throughout the flush and the spring is the best. Some Patriot hostas. And down here is another Xanadu. That one I put in a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. It's setting itself in, so I'm happy with it. Down here we've got another different kind of a Heucherella. That one is Solar Eclipse. So kind of a chartreuse with some purpley red centers. Ghost fern up here. Sorry. Ghost fern up here, that's doing rather well. Putting on some nice growth. I believe this is a meadow rue. I want to say I got it from the neighbor a couple years ago, and it never really did good until this year. But I can still see it's trying to push out its pink, or not pink, yellow blooms. Down below here we've got another hot Hocarella. This one's sweet tea. It's kind of a nice caramely colored. Kind of looks like iced tea. That's another of the astilbes that I moved from the front. So hopefully that'll establish itself and do good here. This one is a Rainforest Sunrise Hosta that I got earlier this year, so it's just a small one. Francie. And this is just a couple of old established hostas that I got, and some more of that meadow rue in the back from the neighbor. I split and moved out some hostas over here. Golden Tiara and a Patriot. Sorry for my shadow again. And a Night Before Christmas. My chair got damaged the other day. I have to put that back together. And my lamium ended up on the ground, so it's trying to struggle and get back to life. And that brings us around to the family garden. Again, I don't know if you guys heard, but we're trying to find plants, perennials with first names of relatives. So our first one here is called Henry. The clematis is a Henry I guess. But this is in honor of Lou's brother Henry, who passed away last year. That's doing rather well. And then her sister-in-law, my sister-in-law Joanne, Lou's sister. This is called Samaritan Joe clematis. And so that's, I think it got eaten by some rabbits. I put a couple cages around here, so hopefully that'll deter them. And then this is a little mini rose that I got from my sister-in-law Joanne again. This has little pink flowers. And that was dying in her yard. She asked me to bring it over to my yard and see what I could do with it. And it looks like it's doing rather well. All right, we're getting towards the end here. This is a My Girl rose. I've been helping out my sister-in-law Joanne this year in her garden, especially a little bit more in the spring, but as a thank you gift, she gave me a My Girl shrub rose. And if we come in here, we can see it is really, really nice. The blooms are really pretty. I can see there's several more coming here. Let me pick up this one here that's drooping a little bit, and you can see how it is more wide open. Isn't that a pretty? Just a pretty hot pink. I really like it. All right, you're gonna have to excuse the mess around the fairy gardens. It looks like I have not weeded for a while. This was the no dig method again, where I just put cardboard over the top with some mulch. And I can see I probably have to do another good layer of that, but the fairies are still happy. They're swinging in their swings and having a good time. And the plants, some of them I transplanted, some of them are sale plants I got. This one I just planted a couple of days ago. That's a, I think it's a Junior Walker or a kitty cat something. Let me see what I can see. This one, oh, this one is Blue Wonder. So, not quite sure. I guess it will get kind of bluish purple flowers on it. Boom Chocolata geranium. So that'll get a nice purple flush. That was only planted a couple days ago as well. All right, let's just go around the other fairy garden. It's still got some of those grasses, but not quite as bad as the other one. I just put this in a couple of days ago. This is the Walker's Low catmint, like the one up in the backyard. So that should get rather large. Put on the purpley pink blooms. The heucherella. It's another wine colored and kind of pretty. That'll put off little blooms in the spring. Lily of the Valley from my sister-in-law again, Joanne. Like I say, she's big into gardening. This angel, or fairy I should say, fell over in the wind. She broke her wings. So I'm gonna have to glue those back on somehow. Got another coral bell next to her. A few fairies. And Lou's little fairy gardens here in her bird cages. Let's see if we can see they're enjoying themselves in the peace of the morning on this September 2nd, 2024. All right, guys, this is gonna do it. Thank you for spending your time with me and seeing what my garden looks like in the fall. It won't be very many more months and we won't be able to, I guess we should be able to do some walks, but it won't look nearly as nice as it does now. The thought of winter. All right, goodbye for now. See you next time.